city you burn, I'm gonna build one high.
Greetings, fellow Empyreans. I am Ashtarothi, the voice of New Eden, and it is too little time to figure out what day it is, because we have a lot to talk about. It is the Eve Universe show. How's it going, guys? Hi. I guess news is literally breaking as we're talking, but there's a lot we want to cover today. I have a bunch of different things up, but I don't have a lot of time. I literally like an hour ago got told, hey, thanks for that, Eric. Thanks for joining the supporters, getting all those emotes and stuff. Yeah, Mike, I don't get tired of that video, that song either. But any rate, I was informed that I should have at least the next 2 hours or so. So let's hope for the best. It's not a lot of time. There's a lot to talk about. I had other things I wanted to present. I have this new thing I'm working on, which, Mike, I want to talk to you about. I call this the stages of Eve progression. The idea of, like, well, if you don't level up in Eve in the classic sense, how does one, what is the actual progression one can go on in Eve? And what does that look like? And what are the stages? What are the breaking points between each stage? Something I'm working on, but I figure we don't have time to talk about that right now. So, let's talk first, I guess, about the breaking news, because I kind of want to figure out what the hell's going on, or at least bring it up. So, Jeff Anderson in our chat, who I'm not sure if that's a name I'm supposed to know or not, has brought to our attention something I saw on Reddit just a bit ago. I'm not 100% sure how widespread this is or whatever, but I'm looking at it. So here is Eve Praisel's official formal goodbye. So what's interesting about this post, Eve Praisel is a tool that I absolutely love, where you can just dump in some, basically in multiple different kinds of formats, anywhere you can copy and paste your assets or the assets you need for something, or like the value of something. You can just drop it into this box and it spits out the M3, the value, and all that stuff of anything. It's a really great website. And apparently it's gone. But the thing that I think is most important to point out here, so he says that CCP banned his IP address that he used to gather market data in EVE Online ESI API. That seems really interesting. Like, obviously, there's been a lot of stuff in the news more broadly involving API access and companies and what they're doing with that, and kind of moving APIs from more of an open thing to more of a structured thing. Everything from Twitter to Reddit and, you know, whatnot. So there is definitely, at the very least, the community is already primed to see things that way. And it's it is a huge red flag, right? But the reason why that is because they just released their Excel integration. So the idea that they would hit third-party tools now that they have an official integration with Excel is that is an extraordinarily concerning issue. And so that's the concern if it is more wider spread than this instance. But either way, I'm not saying that it is that case. I'm saying that that's the reason why people are immediately going to jump to it being a huge issue. Okay. I started to work towards mitigating this issue by contacting support, which is pretty normal, but then I just decided to not. So that's the other half of this, right? Which is that, like, this isn't the same as it was before, like with Reddit, where you can see the third-party developers actively attempting to make things work out. In this case, he hits a roadblock and decides not to. And that's absolutely fair, by the way. I mean, he did this as a labor of love, as many people who make these third-party tools do. At best, he got on the partner program for being for running this. So, you know, if this has become more of a burden or, you know, whatever, for any reason, and he says, he says he hasn't even played EVE Online for several years. So he's like way away from all of this. He's just allowed this to continue to happen because it didn't require very much maintenance for him. So rather than go through the process of fixing it all for a thing that he doesn't even use or care about that much anymore, unfortunately, he's taking this as the opportunity to shutter it. So that means that this alone doesn't seem to indicate that previous fear. Okay, so that's something to keep in mind. Now, I saw some other claims in the chat, but I don't have any evidence of that yet, of a wider spread issue with this. But the idea that a IP ban to gather market data is extremely like weird, and I would definitely want to look into that. But without any other information, I think that that's pretty much the beginning and the end of this so far. He even recommends other tools. So obviously this is not part of, or at least not observed right now as being part of a larger crackdown. This seems to be an isolated event, hopefully. Anywho, will this kill market checking or websites like EVE Tycoon? So yeah, a lot of websites use EVE Appraisal as an estimation tool, right? So like basically EVE Appraisal, one of the things that EVE Appraisal does is it pulls the data itself. So that way it just has the data. So then other people, just like you can hit it and get an appraisal, I can hit the EVE Appraisal API and get back data for the market, right? So the EVE Appraisal functions as a caching and secondary layer for market analysis and such. So a lot of tools use EVE Appraisal as their API endpoint. They don't actually access CCP's endpoint directly to try to figure out what's going on, because a lot of the data is abstracted in a way that is really annoying to work with. EVE Appraisal's already pre-processed all that data, so you can just hit it for the information, right? But the thing is that, as he points out here, Fuzzworks, who Fuzzy Steve is significantly more like committed to like being engaged with the community to this day, at least far as I know. But any rate, he has his own API. So like, for instance, a whole bunch of spreadsheets went down. Well, that's not because CCP has banned 1,000 spreadsheets. It's that there's 1,000 spreadsheets that all relied on the EVE Appraisal endpoint. Now, all they have to do is drop Fuzzworks script into their Excel document or into their Google Doc, and then change the formulas to be compatible with that call instead of the EVE Appraisal call, and it should basically just work, right? Like maybe he formats it a little bit different. You have to realign the cells or whatever, but like this isn't saying that you can't have these spreadsheets. And right now it doesn't look like this is anything further than EVE Appraisal has been away from the game forever. And so you know what this reminds me of? I once made an app and I put it on Android, and it was just this real simple app that a few thousand people actually really liked, right? It actually did pretty well, all things considered. But it wasn't like something that you would like know or whatever. Either way, my point is that it was a really simple thing. I threw it up there and I basically almost never updated it because I then went on to get other jobs, because I made it while I was in between work, and kind of moved on. And it was very simple, so it never actually needed any updates. So then by the time Android made their changes to the way that the Play Store works, I had stopped even thinking about that Android account, let alone that particular app. And so when they're like, hey, if you don't update your security with this thing and re-sign it and do this other stuff, then we're going to pull it from the Play Store. I'm just like, all right. And that was the end of that app on the Play Store. Like, it's just that simple. You weren't making the Aderon. No, that was Marcel. But that's actually how I got involved with Aderon, was because during that same span of time, I actually reached out to Marcel to ask if I could help out with the Aura app. And he said no, because he worked for Google. So he used like proprietary services and stuff. So I wasn't allowed to see the Aura source code, but I could help him with his corp. So I did. No, we haven't gotten to the new incoming ships yet, but we are about to jump there. Let's go ahead and talk about the, will this kill? Oh yeah. So the final solution, the final point to the will this kill market checker websites or Eve Tycoon. If they relied on Eve Praisal, then those people will have to adapt their stuff. And so if they're not willing to, then yeah, I would kill those. But it doesn't look like this is, at least at this point, the end of public use of the API broadly. This just seems like an unfortunate timing. But it is weird. It is weird that CCP would ban their IP address for too many calls. This does happen sometimes, and it is one of those things that you kind of have to, you know, deal with and have a little bit of bullshit. But you know, that's the only thing that would be a red flag out of this. All right, moving on. So the last time we chatted, we were talking about this. Where is it? Oh gosh, this update. So what we saw was 250 new entries of data fragments, with 25 of those entries, I think it was, roughly, being the Guristas, and so many being the Angels, right? So I think it was 25 and 25, and then 200 of the rest, which if you think about it, so if you just assume it's the rest of the other pirate races, you've got 4 other groups. So that could be Sancha, Blood Raider, Serpentis, and Angels. Or yeah, Mordu, not Angels, but Mortis Legion. So 50 were edited from previous items. Oh, okay. That's right. 250 of them were edited from previous things. That's right. That's right. That's right. So we do have the Serpentis ones. Were they updated here, or were they updated in a different place? Oh, here they are. Ah, yeah. Okay. Corrupted data fragment. Probably only the 5 proper criminal factions, but that would be. But if they're 25 fragments each, are they 50 fragments each? I don't think that they're 50 fragments each. I think there's 25, right? Hold on. Well, Mordu is not one of the proper criminal factions you would normally consider. But yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. Yeah. So 25 per race. That tracks. Or at least 25 per Angels and Guristas have been revealed so far, unless they've updated more in update since here. The point is, a whole bunch of data fragments were put in, and we were told, and I was telling people to look for them. And then within a couple of days, we started to get them. And now, at first, only the Guristas was dropping, right? And so this was one of the very first fragments that were found. But you messed me up. All right. There it is. So this is a still picture. Wait, no, it isn't. This is the current that I think this is the latest one that people have, right? So what we see is that it's a Corax class. It has an upgrade. It is a shield upgrade package. Now, the thing that bothers me about this, and the reason why I'm being careful about this, and the other pirate group, the other pirate groups getting them too, is kind of interesting, and it may be something important, but there's something like people need to realize that there's a reason why it's happening to the Guristas and Angels first. Where are these found? Basically off of any sort of officers or elite rats or like rare spawns. Um, like Dread Guristas. Anything with like Dread Guristas, etc. Now, for a while, we were hunting for the Angel one because we figured that if the Guristas one was there, then the Angel ones were a thing. Yeah, I was thinking it would be data sites too. But there never seemed to be any until yesterday, where somebody found their first Angel one, or at least I believe they claim to. These have been verified, I think. But here is the Angel one, which is much harder to see what it is, but it appears to not be any of the ships that we've seen before. So, hold on. Because if you look at it, it looks like it is a vertical ship. Because there's the engines, and it's turning. So it's like it kind of looks like a Tristan. But it looks... And then, like, of course, this is the Angel logo in the background. So it's like at this slope. So it also closer looks like it would be like almost like a mollusk. But isn't there an Angel ship that is very similar to that? Hold on. Yeah, well, hold on. Actually, let's go like this. If there's, yeah, Destroyer. They're all Thrashers. Crap. What about Abyss? I guess it is a Fury. It is just a Fury. Oh, no. Maybe the Ixion. It could be the Ixion or the Medusa. Or the Sword Spine? Hold on. Yeah, well, none of them are a Destroyer right now. Oh, Ixion's already on the Maraca? Well, then that might even be more likely to be used. So what are we deciding? It could, I mean, like, wait, hold on. What is this? What is this thing again? Fury does look really cool. Medusa. I didn't see any hooks. Where is it? Also, how do we know that this is the Destroyer? Hold on. How do we know this is the Destroyer? We don't know that this is the Destroyer. It could be the battle cruiser. It could be the battle cruiser. guys. Just remember that. That's not a Talwar. It looks like it's got, yeah, so look, it's got it has it has like rabbit ears, right? God, why do I feel like I've seen that before? Mm. Must have been adapted. I knew that somebody would say that if I... Ah. You get what I'm saying? Like, like that's the part that looks like a Tristan. Because you can see when it turns here. Yeah, like there's a space in between it. And then it flips around and you can see that there's engines. So there's a second one over there. Yeah. So it's like there's these two long spines. Yeah, see, that's what I was thinking. Hold on. I don't know. I mean, it might be a totally new design. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that's what it looks like. It doesn't, but OP needs to unblack out the rest so we can actually see it. Well, no, the whole point is that we don't, these are we've only gotten 2 fragments so far. So this is all we have. That's the point. Sorry, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. That's all that people have found so far. And of course, these 2 data fragments in the bottom are almost useless. Are there any words? Has anybody pulled out anything else out of here that I know about? Dutch, you should know. Some kind of Oracle Tristan hybrid? I don't know, man. We're going to just need more angel fragment drops. But my point is this. Here's the thing. Angels and Garistas are particularly interesting right now because, of course, well, 2 things. 1, the Guri Malakan is Garistas and Angels, and 2, the Garistas Angels, or the Mimitar and Kaldari are the missing pirate ship line that we've been looking for with the Deathless and all this other stuff. So the Garistas and the Angels are the ones who have been getting this tech and then selling it to the other empires, but they've been working closely together. So I would like to think that these destroyers may not be the same, or these ships may not be the same as the other pirate ships. You know, do not just assume that the Garistas one is going to just be a missile drone, you know, one. It might be, and it does, like the shield upgrade package seems to suggest, because the shield resistance modifier is a pretty popular Garistas thing. But don't just assume it at this point, right? Because the idea is that these ships may in fact be hybrids between Angels and Garistas or something along those lines. It may just be that it may be as simple as we're just getting pirate destroyers. But so far, we haven't proven that out yet. You know, whatever. So yeah, they're gonna release the Garistas. Wait a minute. Yeah. Oh shoot, that's what it looks like. Okay, well, no, I'm just kidding. That's a troll. We're just gonna go with that's a troll. Let's move on. Anywho, so the point is that this is breaking information, and it looks like CCP is going to start trickling this stuff in, as you know, we are now starting out the next arc, and things like FanFest is looming pretty close, right? Like, how long until FanFest? When is that FanFest? It's September, right? So August, like a month or two, like less than a month or two from FanFest. Yeah, I'm going to go off this picture now. I don't want you guys getting too excited. Ah, no. But yeah, no, this doesn't look like any ship that I've been able to see so far, because it looks like there's two things going up. There's rockets on the back of the things, and there's like a little tiny fin in the middle. We'll just have to pay attention. I'm in Potch looking at a faction nag. Wait, what? How do you have wait? What? How? No, wait. How do you have a faction Naglfar? Got it. Got it. I thought you were saying that you were looking at a faction Nagel. I'm like, I don't. That doesn't work. By the way, I have the guy who messages me in the background named Flea. Like that's their Discord name, and for a long time I used to think that they were you. Until one day I said something to them, and they were like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, "Oh." Anywho, no, you can get this mug too from the merch store down below. Is there a link to this Reddit post? Yes. How much are faction nags worth now? Like 5, 6. All right. And then the almost complete one. I thought so. Thank you. All right. So, all right. What is next? This is the new pirate stuff that's coming out. It is worth noting that it does seem like it'll spread out to the rest of the pirates, but this new technology is coming from the Angels and the Guristas, who have been mercenaries during the Shadow War, or at least seem to be connected to the mercenaries in the Shadow War, as well as the guys who've been raiding the Jovian observatories. So they've been combining Jovian technology with Triglavian technology in order to develop these new ships. So that's why I said, like, don't just think that these are going to be the same as everything else. Although all indications so far seems to indicate that they very well might be. Is station charging? Yes, yes. Station trading is actually worth a lot more now, because the cost to change your price is has been increased, and your price can only have up to 4 significant digits. So you can no longer 0.01 ISK. People actually have to make meaningful market like positions in order to do it. But where is the missing faction Caldari Mimitar? That's what I'm saying, is that, like, there is a very good possibility that somewhere out of this is still going to emerge that pirate faction, because they certainly seem to be dancing around that for quite some bit. But this does overall confirm to me that I've been kind of hinting that, or I've been kind of speculating at this for a while now. But as the last story arc was based on the empires, the story arc that we are getting into now, leading into the winter and for the next probably year, is going to be related to the pirates, right? So expect to see a lot more about the pirates coming into the forefront as the war between the empires descends more and more into a hot war. They lose control. We're going to see a lot more on what the pirates are going to be doing to capitalize based on this situation. That's what I think really. That's what this signals to me, at least. So we'll see. Next. What is next? New Liberation Day pack. Is this still available? I didn't just wait. I didn't just... Yeah, today's the last day. Is today the last day or is this done? Hold on. Am I a day late and a dollar short? Yeah, I mean, like Mari, that pretty well tracks with some of the things that they've kind of hinted at. Yeah. I mean, I've said for a couple of years now, like, what are you going to do when the Amar or Tash Murkon invade Stain? All right, hold on. Yeah, it's still available. Okay. So here is the Liberation Day pack. This is the last day to get it. So if you're watching this not live, sorry. You should probably skip this part. But there's a couple things I still want to talk about here, even if you're not interested in buying it, because there's, yeah, I'm not sure how happy I am about it. Okay, so you get the, here we go with, so it's a $70 pack, and you get 1,000 plex. 1,000 plex would be roughly $50 worth of plex if you buy it incredibly suboptimally, and then 250,000 skill points. So this one, along with just like the other like the last couple that we've gotten, it used to be that you could just like look at the plex and look at the price of the thing and be like, yep, this pack is worth it. This one's a little bit more dubious. You have to definitely put some value in the skins, which cannot be gotten on the market. These skins are available, like the previous ones. These are the new ones that came out this year. Previous years chain breakers are available on the Plex store. These are only available here from what I saw. So, and it's the Valraven, Sleipnir, Spitbull, Wolf, Jaguar, Stabber, Fleet Issue, Cyclone, Fleet Issue, and Cyclone, which of course, that means you can always buy it on the market. What happened? Oh. Dream Dead. Oh. I think Wizard, what if you accidentally put no space, you just go word period word, it'll interpret that as a URL and kill it. Anywho, so the point here is this: boost your learning skill and accelerate your career path. Also included are agency boosters, hard shell, and overclocker. But it says brand new accelerator cannot be traded. So this accelerator is one of these two. It is either the Genius Boost Cerebral Accelerator and the Hematar Rise Accelerator. Does anybody know which one of the two it is? Has anybody bought the pack yet that could tell me? Because these are very different. One of them is a 2 to 4 day boost of 12 to all learning implants, but this one is crazy. Encrypted and broadcast, whispers throughout barbed wire, shouted in the streets. It is. So you get this one. In BYC20, a single word traveled across Hematar and began the Mimitar Rebellion. Rise. This booster, designed in honor of that great day, once redeemed by the Capsuleer, increased the rate in which they train skills for its duration. So it's 0.6 to all learning attributes for 2 to 4 days, depending on your biology. Plus, it gives you plus 12 tracking and plus 12 missile explosion velocity. So application to both turrets and missiles for 4 days as a new pilot. Oh, the tracking was removed later. Let's go find out. Well, then it's just a +6 booster. Then why would you even call it new? Yeah, you're right. Never mind. Why would you even call this news now? New now? Either way, whatever. Fine. I have no. My complaint is removed. Next topic. No. No. Mimitar's mixed. A lot of their systems can do either or. Mimitar is defined by flexibility, more or less. Don't hit on the incredibly powerful missile hack, the Munin. Where were we? Okay. Yeah. So I didn't end up picking up this pack. If you're into the Mimitar, I could definitely see it being interesting. You know, the Sleipnir is obviously a very popular ship. I know the Cyclone Fleet issue has been extremely popular to a lot of people. The one thing that is kind of cool about the Chainbreaker are one of the earlier ones to have like a cool hologram on it. So you've got, let's look at the Sleipnir. You've got these Chainbreaker. Let's not cover up everything. You've got these cool holograms of the Kumok. The Kumok, so these Kumoks are a religious like symbol of power, or like a scepter that they Amar use when being overlording their Mimitar oppressors. And during the Mimitar rebellion, the Mimitar guy grabbed the Kumok and killed his slaver with it, and that was like one of the big things that began the Mimitar rebellion. How are a T1 Mimitar destroyer is immiscible? Yeah. Like Mimitar are definitely missile and turret. You found some permaban stuff. Don't even remember getting it. There was a period of time where it was relatively cheap to get, I think, and then I think there was even some permaban stuff that was given away to everybody's login reward. The Bellicose is pretty sweet. All right. Cyclones and Cyclone Fleets are currently very, very popular. Let's go over some patch notes. Yay, I have a little bit of time left. We'll power through some of this stuff. I don't know where we were last at. It was yeah. This was the last we did. So nothing serious there. The taxes on fees for manufacturing have now been increased on NPC stations, and the sales and all that stuff has been removed. So now it is more expensive to manufacture in NPC stations as of the 1st. Is to encourage and give value to the people who are able to tax and get money from their Sodios and other manufacturing facilities, player-owned ones. Expired the boosters. Home fronts. They did a lot of fixes to the functionality of the home fronts, but they also did some mechanical changes to the home fronts. I don't know if this is it yet. Yes. So one of the things that they did was they've now added these focused enemies that will attempt to newt the dreads as well. They've done several iterations on the dread assault sites because these are vastly the most popular and have been frequently seen as being the most cheesable. So there's been a lot more iterations on them, but they've basically tried to bring down, or at least make the dread site more complicated, while making the ones that take longer more rewarding. So fixes to their UI chain, their opportunities window. Here we go. So this was one of the big changes. So now rather than charge up the Dreadnought once, you have to charge it up 3 times. Once for shields, once for armor, once for hull. There are now more Newting rats and dedicated ECM rats that can be killed. And so the thing is that this builds a natural delay that makes the site take long enough that it brings it more in line with how long it takes for you to complete the other missions, right? That's kind of the intent. Now then, also the emergency aid site now gives additional items every 5 minutes, because here's one of the problems: that emergency aid, since they all paid out the same, more or less, then it was just the ones that you could get done faster, then you could go on to the next one. But emergency aid specifically was, you have to protect them for 15 minutes. You couldn't do it any faster. So, while everybody was doing suspicious signal in like 4 or 5 minutes, and everybody was doing the dread site in like 2 to 4 minutes, emergency aid still took 15 minutes. So they had to make the Dreadnought site far more complicated. As we see later, the suspicious signal has had its window narrowed to make it take a little bit more time too. But the emergency aid site has had basically checkpoints every 5 minutes now when you get rewards. So running emergency aid is kind of closer to running like 3 sites, but not quite, because there's no travel time, and it's not, obviously it doesn't triple the reward. And then also in the suspicious signal sites, because now it takes 2 to 3 cycles for a normal group rather than 1 to 2. Now anytime you hack it, there is 1 to 3 doodads inside that are worth 350,000 ISK you can sell to NPC buy orders, just like the ore or any of the other things. It's just a commodity. And although like lore is kind of fun about it, but we'll talk about that another time. But the key here is that you got to make sure to loot it every single time, because if you let the can relock itself, it'll probably repopulate, and it doesn't seem to like build up. It's not like you can just like pull it out at the end. So make sure every time you hack it, you also pull out the loot. Whatever, fine. And then they added more enemies to the Abyssal Artifact recovery sites, because, and then also, but the Abyssal Artifact recovery sites will no longer pod you. Well, yeah, I mean, like, so the items that you get are related to what's going on, right? Like, there's a Mega Siphoner, and so you get, like, transaction reports or whatever. Yes, the Suspicious Signals can now has loot. There also has been a much bigger change towards aggressing drones in general. However, we found that Caldari Navy drones were able to more or less tank at least the suspicious signal site when they got aggro. I mean, like, not the entire site, but the amount of aggro that they were able to handle it for the most part. Also, they've increased the respawn time of enemies, so it is kind of worth it to kill people. Especially, one of the things that we'll find is that we will kill the ones that we don't like and keep the ones that we do like. It's almost like playing poker, right? Like you can be like, okay, those are 3 ECM ships, go away. And then, you'll get back new ships, but they may or may not be ECM ships, right? So you just keep on killing ECM ships until you don't have any ECM ships anymore. And if you kill anything that isn't one of your priority targets, then that just opens up that slot to be something that you don't want to spawn, which is, so you kind of have to control the field a little bit. Yeah. Oh, and then today they completed the fix of the Samanuni to Othanun Stargate connection that has been removed from autopilot routes. This leads me to ask a couple of questions. First of all, does that mean that it's no longer a front line? And the answer to that is, of course not. They only can get rid of the part of it that's good for us, Gallente. They can't get rid of the part that is a pain in the butt for Gallente. Oh shoot, it's not showing it. And if you can want to see, if you really want to drive the point home, Othanoon currently has a battlefield. So glad that all of those people that try to use Othanoon and the Gallente people can pick on because we own it, and like the idea of like opening it and closing it to make it so that people get in, we can gank people because that'd be funny. The one advantage that we get out of the fact that this is a permanent front line when it shouldn't be. Oh no, they can fix that part. I'm not bitter, you're bitter. CC, please. I know, right? Ah! So, that's cool. It's cool. So this does lead me to a question, though, because I suspect that the problem here is, not problem, but the result here is that if the Caldari was to take this site again, I don't think the autopilot will reroute. I think that they literally just manually killed that connection in the autopilot. So it doesn't matter if it's active or not, right? Like it can't detect whether or not it is online or not. So now they just have to set it to off, because it's better to not route people through it and have it, whatever, than to route people through it when it's closed. That's my suspicion, but we won't know for sure until the state takes it again. Not that we're planning on letting that happen. That's just funny. Man, I did it all in time. I got through this in time. I feel like I haven't talked about everything just because of that. Is there anything else been going on? Oh, right. I wanted to show off something. On my Twitter and elsewhere. Actually, hold on. Let me do this better. So this is our Notion. I'm going mad trying to find Mithras Gate. So I feel like if CCP wanted us to find like if that was the site and there was a piece to that they would have given us another hint that Mithras Gate was still a thing. Like, do we even have more angel names that are Zoroastrianism? Like, I don't even think so. Because that was the part that was interesting, is that the characters that are associated with that are more connected with Mithra than with like standard angelic iconography. Anywho, under tools and resources on the Convocation of Empyreans Notion, which is hold on. Yeah, it should just be. Oh no, that's not it. That's not right. Hold on. Oh, totally. Whatever. Sometimes Notion is confusing. So if you go to convocation.notions.site, what happens? Yeah. So if you go to convocation.notion.site, I think, and if not, here's the longer link. No. Yes. Go to site. Yeah. That'll bring you to here. If you scroll down and go to tools and resources, you can either click in here or you can just go here and go to infographics. So this is where I collect all of the infographics that I really, really like. You got everything from module stacking penalties to different standard ship profiles to turret crystals and other ammunition analysis, login cheat sheet boosters, my abyssal cheat sheet, And then, of course, the two newer ones. One is this one, which is all of the stuff involving the industry stuff, which we talked about last show, and I just put up the video for it on YouTube, the edited version of it. But then there's also this one, which is my new one. So recently they did a mining overhaul where they changed the way that the mining crystals worked and also where all the ore was. So what I put here is all of the different kinds of asteroid mining lasers. I've only done asteroids so far. And what rocks that they mine and what minerals are in those rocks. So this one's pretty straightforward. You can see like to the left of the crystal is the thing, all of the things that crystal can get. And then so a simple can mine Veldspar, Plage, Pyro, Scordite, and Mortium. And Veldspar has Tritanium, etc., etc. So pretty obvious. I tried to make it so it's in order of which mineral has the most quantity in each one, but I also haven't triple checked it, so it's almost certainly wrong. I haven't even double checked it. It's almost certainly wrong in a few places, but that could be something I could fix in theory. I did put these lines so that way these two middle bands, the coherent and variegated, are more low-sec ore, whereas the two bottom ones are more null-sec ore, with, of course, Abyssal being in Pochvin. The ones with blue, however, are the ones that can be found in the AO Blue Star or border system sites. So you can find these in HiSec, all of them, if you go to systems that border null-sec or low-sec systems. Likewise, you can also find them in AO Blue Star systems, in null-sec, and in, anytime that is like a null-sec borders a low-sec system. In fact, at that border point, both the null-sec site and the low-sec site can both have the possibility of spawning the border ore. Yeah, and the Ytterium, the amount of Ytterium in the sites have been increased by 900%, which is the source of isogen. So they're definitely worth hunting down and finding. Ytterium right now is one of the most valuable minerals that you can possibly mine, and you can even find it in HiSec in theory. Pro tip, if you want to find it in HiSec reasonably, look for HiSec islands. Contiguous HiSec is hunted mercilessly. Like, people are on it right away. What's up, James? Good to see you. But yeah, so just kind of simple. I've been thinking about doing another one for mineral or for moon ore, but like that feels like, first of all, it would not be as clean because all of the different things they're so small, or like if I shrunk them, it'd be unreadable. So I may just do ore and crystal, but I want to say I feel like that's part of the, like, when you're moon mining, you're probably going to be told which one to do or what to know or whatever. It could still be valuable, but I don't know. You guys tell me. Or if there's something else I could do to expand on this one, or to correct. There could absolutely be flaws in this still. One thing I think is one thing I figured out in all this that I found was really interesting was, like, so there's one HiSec crystal, there's one null-sec crystal, but there's two low-sec crystals, and that always struck me as kind of weird. But if you look at it, there's a pattern. Basically, both of the crystals get all four of the same stuff. However, coherent crystals are, of the four, pick two, whereas variegated crystals are, of the four, pick three, with the only one that's missing from any of them being Mexilon. All three of them have Mexilon in it. But it's Procrite is the one without isogen, Dark Orchor would be the one without pyrite, and Nisus would be the one without Noxium. Whereas the coherents are combinations of two, so there's naturally more of them because there's more combinations of the two. With pyrite and Mexilon being the only ones that are in two of them, where Noxium and isogen are in three of them. because they have each of their, basically it's Noxium and Pyrite, Noxium and Mexilon, Kernite and Pyrite, Kernite and Isogen and Mexilon, Isogen and Pyrite, and then of course Noxium and Pyrite and Isogen. So, and the reason why that is of course because Pyrite and Mexilon is found in other places, including Hisek, Moon Ore, etc. So it's kind of the extra, it's the sluff, more or less, which is one of the reasons, I guess. Does that mean that Hemorrhite is one of the more valuable ore because it has both of the rarer stuff in it? Maybe that might be something we're thinking about. Is that true? I don't even know. But yeah, like that's really what's going on here, right? Like, yeah. There is a bigger patch today, but the patch notes had only one topic. Oh, they put in the new skins today for the for these are for faction warfare, not faction warfare, alliance tournament. So the alliance tournament skins are in, which is pretty cool. New files. Let's see. Nothing big there. You said it was a big update? I don't see anything that would make for a big update today. Yeah. I still mine Hemorrhite in Hisek. That's tricksy. Well, Nixie, that's what this is for now, right? This is what that's why you got this. It's your quick guide. That's why I make cheat sheets. How big was the patch today? Right. Several hundred megabyte download. I don't see anything here that represents 100 megabyte download. Yeah, there's no dramatic changes here. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Well, it's weird because like it seems to suggest that Tranquility might not have caught it, or this one might not have caught it, or whatever. But like, I don't see how that's possible. Wait, or was it a Singularity update? Nope, that was 6 days ago. Just more data fragments to hunt for. Yeah. Well, we got to keep an eye on that because like they can always just change the strings on those data fragments to make them interesting. Yeah. But I haven't seen them. I've been keeping an eye out for them. Yeah, so on that note, I would recommend, because as you can tell, my schedule is super out of my control for the purposes of summer vacation. So I would strongly recommend. Yeah, Singularity is still private, but they still update it, which allows us to still pull information from it sometimes. Anyway, if you're interested in checking out Eve, or you haven't yet, or you haven't used a buddy code to get 1,000,000 free SP, this there is a link posted in the stream now or down below where you can get 1,000,000 free SP. You can use it already if you have an account. You can use it if you have a Steam account. As long as you've never done it before, you can do it. And it benefits all of the people that help out my stream and the Convocation of Empyreans that make things happen. If you want to join the Convocation of Empyreans and help us maximize player engagement with EVE Online, the Convocation of Empyreans is recruiting. However, even if you're not interested in actually joining us in-game, I strongly recommend you go ahead and hop in our Discord because we have public channels for people, including channels involving for the show and whatnot, where I can get feedback and chat with people. as well as roles that you can give yourself in the roles channel, including a YouTube one. So that way you can see when I go live or put out videos or any of that kind of stuff. It's probably the best way to keep track of things and keep on pace with things. And of course, we're on voice comms like basically all the time. So as long as you're not obnoxious, hop on in and join the chat. You know, whatever. We're always looking for more people to come and do stuff with. We've got weekly moon mining, we've got faction warfare, we've got home fronts and such, and we support as many different kinds of activities as we possibly can. So if any of this interests you, come hop in and look into it some more. Just do me a favor, and when you fill out your application and they say like, how did you find out? Don't just start it with, well, I watched this one video on YouTube. Say something a little bit more creative than that. Like if you're going to go that far, if you're just going to go with the story of I found this YouTuber on YouTube and now I'm here, I just tell a story. Tell them that a leprechaun came out of your dream and inscribed upon a scroll the URL for the website, and here you are because you were told to by your dead on. You know, whatever. I don't care. Just my lead recruiter is starting to complain that everybody has the exact same story. So let's go ahead and make it interesting for them. Also, make sure to like the stream, and thank you guys so much for, you know, super chats and support and memberships and all that kind of stuff. You know, I appreciate it. The guineas appreciate it. I haven't been able to make as much content as normal. And on top of that, it's been my son's birthday and just everything else. So would not be able to keep doing this if it wasn't for you guys, for absolute sure. So Ashes the Leprechaun confirmed. Sure, why not? Anywho, all that said, you know, check out the stuff. We got the merch, we got the other stuff, but really I just appreciate you guys watching my videos, sharing with other people. I've seen a lot more of that, and it's really cool. And I really think that it has an effect. Like, I'm meeting more and more people who know how to fix their fit when something minor's wrong, or understand how to look up information, or understand how to do their own industry. And it really, really makes me happy that we are playing a small role in the improving of EVE Online, because it is our game. It is a sandbox, and therefore we need to take responsibility of it as a community as well. So, I will absolutely pass that on, Mad Hatter. And then, of course, I haven't actually picked up the collector's edition yet because all of the stuff from before, but YouTube pays me in a couple of days, so hopefully I'll be able to pick it up then. But yeah, any rate, all that said, I've been Ashtarothi. I've been playing this game since 2010, talking about since 2012, and I'm here to put EVE into context for you, my fellow Empyreans. Thank you guys so much for coming. Just as a little preview, like I said, I might make this as my own video, but just to give you guys a little bit of a preview, I've been trying to think about like how to measure or evaluate the progress, the stages one goes through when learning EVE Online. Mostly because it's not a normal progression. People like to talk about endgame and all that stuff, but more to do with the fact that each of these stages represents a framework that people see the game through, a lens through which to see the game. And so the problem I see is that when somebody tries to interact with somebody on a different band, there can often be a lot of confusion or miscommunication or suboptimal communication. But either way, the different stages are exposure, the search or learning phase, practice and refinement, expansion, and complexity. Ooh, what could I possibly mean by that? Find out hopefully next time, or bug me about it. But until then, I've been Ashtarothi, the voice of New Eden. And until next time, I'll see you in space. Join the Gal Mill.
Bring on the every city.